Okay, we're ready.
All right. This is the Design Review Board meeting. First agenda item is a call to order. Would you do the honors, Maria?
Yes, Miss Bright,
Present.
Miss Dickinson,
Present.
Miss Clement,
Present.
Mr. Kapler,
Present.
Miss Shaw, she let me know she was not going to be able to make it today. And Mr. Stevie,
I'm here today.
thank you. We have quorum, Mr. Chair.
Excellent. Let's get right into it. The agenda item number 2 is to review our previous meeting minutes, which occurred on 5/20. I'll note that I was absent for that meeting.
I move to approve the minutes of 5/20.
Great.
I'll second that.
All right, there's a motion that's been seconded to approve the minutes. All in favor, say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. All right, the motion passes. Thank you. We'd like to do a call to the audience in case there is one. If there's anyone here that is just spectating and has a question or would like to speak to the DRB, now is the moment. Okay.
Paige, do you want to introduce yourself very quickly and provide us with your name and your address?
Sure, my name is Paige Anthony. I am a landscape designer with Norris Design. And my home address or my work address?
Either one, just for the record.
Oh, okay. I'll give you my work address, which is 418 North Toole Avenue, Tucson, 85701.
Thank you, Paige. And as I understand, you're here because you're interested on being part of the DRB and you're just observing, correct?
That is correct. And I appreciate the invitation.
Okay, thank you.
Great. Well, welcome. We'll try to make it as appealing as possible. We always like new members. So the first thing we're going to do is review agenda item number 4 is a Rio Nuevo case number RNA DRB 2207. The conversion of a single family residence to office at 1834 North Craycroft Road. This is not
correct.
This
That's my
Nuevo.
No, it's not, Mr. Chair. I'm sorry for the confusion. It's actually a review of a development package. It's for office compatibility standards with the surrounding properties. This parcel went through rezoning back in 2019 to rezone from R1 to O1 office. And it was authorized by the mayor and council. So now they're going through the development package process, and the Unified Development Code specifies, I have the purview down here, on this section that the DRB needs to review and forward a recommendation to the PDSD director on the development package being presented by the applicant as a result of the authorized rezoning condition. They have the site right now has an existing single-family residence structure, and the applicant is, proposing to use it for the administrative and professional office use, together with the, require landscaping, screening, parking, pedestrian circulation, etc. So that's why we're here today.
Okay. Yeah, we don't see a lot of cases under this purview, but thank you for the summary. So DRB board, this paragraph that Maria has on the screen, that's the criteria that we are to consider when we review this application, A, B, C, D, and E. And with that summary from staff, let's have the applicant make their presentation and show us their project.
Yes, thank you. My name is Mario Martinez. I'm a civil engineer here in Tucson, and I guess Maria couldn't have said it better. That's the whole intent of this process. It went through rezoning a couple years ago. It passed. Now we're in the process of submitting the development package, and we need this design review board meeting to follow through. The existing building has been there. I think it was built back in 1951. So to the north of this property, we have a dental office. And to the south of the property is also, I think, is a medical office. So that's why we said, no, rezoning will be a very good option to make good use of this property. So make it a commercial or an O1 rezoning. So everything went well. And so for this particular meeting, some of the materials that we have on that existing building is the French stucco building, which is similar to most of the surrounding area properties at that location. Roof materials are shingles, and there's a whole variety of roof types. We have a tile roof on the south, on the north. And then we have flat roofs on some of the neighbors to the northeast. We have shingle roofs across the street. I don't know if you have let me try to pull the aerial of the adjacent neighborhood.
Yeah, Renee, feel free to share your screens with your presentation to the DRB.
Okay, let me look for it here first.
If you have trouble, I can do it for you too.
Maria is expert at it.
Could you share my screen?
Sure. Let me share your materials with the DRB. Can people see my screen?
Yes, we see the Google Maps.
Okay, this is a Google Maps. Let me go to the application.
It's on page 33, actually. Oh, that one right there. Okay, so I guess this was taken from the PMF website. So we are right against Craycroft. Across the street from Craycroft, we have all single-family residences, shingle roof, a couple of shed roofs on the porches there. On the north side of this property, of the surgery property, is the medical office. It's a dental office, actually. And that's a tile roof. To the south, it's also a tile roof, but it's a flat tile roof. If you notice, it's a similar color than the one we are. Actually, we don't want to change anything that is of the existing building. So we want to keep it as is, so it will blend in with the existing surroundings. If we go to the development plan, it is that one. So we have it's going to be a parking space, a parking lot with asphalt covering there. What else can I say? So we're going to have at least a 24-foot wide driveway into the property. Then we're going to come around and go to the parking lot in the back. Right now, if you look at the existing pictures of the fence. It's all weathered and not in good condition. So we're planning adding a wall all around the property, and mainly on the south side. That's where the worst condition of the existing fence is, and that you probably could see that on over there. Page 21 of the DRB packet, Exhibit 12. It is a wooden fence. It's falling off, falling down. Behind this fence, there's some easements on the north and on the east side, which will be covered and hidden out of the view from Craycroft. Let me see what else. Exhibit number 12. Yeah, if we scroll down, we have the perimeter fence in different stage conditions. That's the neighbor to the east. Scroll down a little bit more. That's the northeast corner of the property. So we're trying to get in this, make it appealing and much more professional than it is right now. Right now, it's an empty lot. It's all dirt. That's the easement on the north side of the property. So yeah, we're just making sure we are just following the guidelines and
Okay, thanks for, we kind of got a sense of the project. Maria, if you could put the criteria that we're thinking about this morning on the screen, we'll go one by one on those points and see what questions we might come up with. All right. A, the building materials on the exterior facade are compatible with those used within the neighborhood block. I'm hearing no changes to the exterior elevations of the house that's becoming an office.
that's
Is
correct.
that true? No changes.
That's correct.
B, color schemes of the new building are compatible with the developments on the block face. Are you going to repaint? And have you thought about the colors?
We thought about the colors. Most of the colors, actually all of the colors are desert tones, or tan, gray, which are very compatible with the south and the north of property. Buildings.
At your stage of planning, is there an architectural elevation page with a color picked out, or not yet?
No, not yet.
Yeah. So
I just show pictures of the existing structure.
So we really can't comment on the color scheme except to communicate that there's a requirement that the colors should be compatible with other developments on the block.
I agree.
C, the exterior facade of new construction is a residential type architecturally if adjacent. It is. It was residential and it is a residential type. D, the building scale of new construction complements rather than is dominant in scale to adjacent properties or adjacent projects. And what I'm seeing is you're sandwiched in between two other commercial spaces, and it doesn't look like you, with your parking lot, you're going to dominate. Any thoughts or considerations from the design review board on item D?
I think the block wall will be an improvement over the, the chain link fence that needs to be replaced. The scale of it seems appropriate to me.
Yeah, it's going to get cleaned up a lot with a parking lot like that. Oh, there is elevation.
Yeah, I guess the building, I mean, it's just keeping the existing, so there doesn't seem any issues there. I guess my only concern is just the scale of the parking lot compared to the building. It just seems massive. I mean, I don't know what kind of business they're planning to have in there, but, and just all the, I'm sure it's just typical impervious concrete, you know, so in terms of that, you know, the sustainability and heat island issue, it just seems that it's kind of dominating in terms of the amount of hardscape.
Well, let's ask this question related to that. How many parking spots were required by your change of occupancy?
4.
Oh, most developers want to put the minimum amount of parking spots in. So what's your
Maybe
thought?
Scroll up a page and go to the upper right corner of the page prior to this landscape page you're on, or Maria, if you're in control of the screen.
Right there.
Oh, there's a parking
Parking
calculations.
calcs are off to the right.
So what do we need 17 parking spots for? What's the
Okay, no.
idea there?
Initially, the owner was planning to demolish that building and put a larger building on the back side of the property, and have the parking in front. But their financial situation changed, and they decided not to go with it. Also, there was another there were so many changes in the design stage. They were planning to join this property with the property to the north. I believe it's the same owner, and between both of them, they were going to use a little more parking lot. But yeah, I agree. This is much more than we needed. We probably can scale down, but let me see, what was the reason why? And this happened before the pandemic.
I was gonna see if you wanted to meet a landscape architect. You'd help with that backyard a little bit.
Yeah.
And green it up. We don't need all that asphalt.
Okay, yeah, I agree. I agree with maybe
So-
half of it. Yes.
So maybe the parking lot is too dominant, and we're gonna flag it and say, revisit this parking lot. It's too dominant. It's not passing the test because it is creating a dominant feature that nowhere else in the neighborhood has a parking lot like this in the backyard.
Okay.
And
Well taken.
19 is keynote 19. Is it going to be an asphalt parking lot?
Yes.
Yeah. I wonder if you could use a pervious type of
Pavers
grade. Yeah.
or DG.
Or compacted, some nice compacted material that would let the water go through. And
Double
it
layer
wouldn't
pea
be a heat
gravel.
island.
Yes. Okay.
Let's
we
go
can
to
consider that.
go back to the criteria. That was a good comment.
Nice.
Any new mechanical equipment located on the roof or screened? So what's going on with the mechanical equipment?
This is existing. I don't know when it was installed. There's a rooftop equipment you can see it on the west elevation, and there is a.
There it is, number 4.
I mean, yeah, the east elevation. Yes, number 4. That's the.
And it's below the ridge,
Yes.
and that's the rear elevation. So that's seems like it's good. If you were to ever replace mechanical equipment, I think it would be really smart of you guys to take it off the roof and put it in the yard somewhere. If you decide to go on the roof, I guess the requirement would be to have it screened. Right now, it is in a screened condition.
Okay. Well, even if it's not seen from the outside, from the front, we can just keep it as is.
I think so.
Yeah. I mean,
It's not new.
Mr. Kapler, members of the DRB, right now the applicant is at the stage of the development plan review process. The construction documents have not been submitted, I believe, or reviewed. Right now, these are the existing elevations.
Okay,
If I understand correctly, we don't have yet, what the proposed elevations will be based on building code requirements, considering
So-
that this will be an office use now, not a residential use.
okay. So it's sort of like the colors. We can't comment on the colors because that hasn't been determined yet. New mechanical equipment has not been determined yet. It's likely that you will get new mechanical equipment when you produce construction documents, but we can't comment on it. Our main comment is going to be the dominance of that parking lot. And so what's the possible motions that the board can make?
I just have one other comment on the parking lot. It's fortunate that you came to us early and we have an opportunity to discuss this. I just think, as you make modifications to that parking lot layout, it'd be nice to see the pitch of the paving designed to bring water back to the landscape. That would be an easy way to capture rainwater and make use of it.
Okay, yeah, there's a grading plan. It's not in this packet, but we have a grading plan already. We have the full packet that was initially submitted to development services. So that it is, we have there. Normally it will go into the recessed landscape areas, most of it on the sides and on the front. But yeah, we can provide that.
Okay, so I think what the board ought to do is make a motion that we find it not in compliance and that the parking lot is a dominating feature. And we want that to be reworked and come back again. That sound right?
Can I have a comment?
Sure.
Circling back to that parking lot, this was approved. This was approved on the rezoning. Will that need to be reapplied and go through the whole process again?
I don't know.
Normally, if you,
Mr. Chair, members of the DRB, this plan here corresponds to the concept plan that was reviewed by through the rezoning process. So as we are going back and forth, I will need to check with rezoning staff to see if there's going to be any impact on the approve or authorize rezoning. My guess just right now, just by looking at it, is that it may not, because we're not talking about an increase of the gross floor area, for instance, that is different from what was authorized by mayor and council. We're not looking at a change of use. Let's say that, if this is right now presented as an administrative and professional use, but if the applicant was to propose it as a medical use now in the development plan process, then that may require, right, a revision and maybe a major revision to the rezoning case. So that's just my feeling right now, that it wouldn't impact the rezoning. But again, I'm not part of the entitlement section of my department, so I will need to check with rezoning staff.
okay.
If we're making comments on the overall landscaping, could we go to the landscape plan, please? And correct me if I'm wrong here, but I see that the Ann Warner's comments have not yet been integrated into these plans. The corrections she has asked for in responses, I do not see in this set of plans. I'm assuming that these corrections and her comments will be integrated in the next round. Is that correct, sir?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay,
yes.
good.
Not the
So
word,
I'm
but yes.
not okay. I'm understanding where we're at. Thank you. The parking lot. Yes, I love the idea of a pervious paving. I would, if we're reducing the number of spaces. I would definitely increase the planting islands, the width of them. They're very skinny. And I'm concerned about the 2 trees located on the northwest corner and their proximity to the existing water lines, the water line that's running through there. You see how close they are?
Okay.
So if you have T1 and T2, one's Prosopis chilensis, the other one, the species name you want to add is Acacia gregii for cat claw acacia. That was one of Ann's comments. So
Yes.
both of those trees, their roots can be aggressive. I would look at the standards in terms of distance of setback from water lines.
Okay.
And then if you integrate Ms. Warner's comments into it, that's good. I do see some conflicting notes in your shrub planting. Detail number 1, you have a 4-inch deep depressed basin, but in your general notes, you have 2 inches and you have 6 inches. So it's confusing, right?
Okay. Appreciate it. Yes. Okay. I'll look into that.
Yeah, I think if you go through Ms. Warner's comments, which I found to be very good, it will help clean up your drawings and also, you know, reconfigure the parking lot will help.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Carol. So I think we want to see this case again with a different parking lot and landscape scheme that is not as dominating. Do we need a motion for that? I guess we do. Let's look at our motion. Motion language. Yeah, so we would find it not in compliance and specifically point out that the buildings that the new construction should complement and not dominate. And we feel that the parking lot is not complementing, but rather dominating. And so we would like to see that reworked.
Okay, absolutely. We can do that.
Who would like to make that motion from the DRB?
Mr. Chair, you were mentioning also the color schemes. You know, the applicant,
Okay.
could provide for those as well.
Yeah, but we'll never know about the mechanical equipment sometimes shows up on the development plan if they have to put a little housekeeping pad somewhere for the condensers. Yeah, we could also mention the color. Put a note on the plan that the color is going to be a desert tone or something like that. So that gets taken care of.
Good.
Mr. Applicant, I have another question. One of Ms. Warner's comments was creating a dangerous alleyway between the 2 walls. Oh, that was another conflicting note. One note says a 5-foot wall. You're saying a 6-foot wall. You're going to be changing that, correct?
Yes, correct. I think the
Okay.
existing is a 5-foot.
And are you still having that tunnel that Ms. Warner commented on between the 2 properties? One wall's 5-foot wide area or whatever it is, and another wall that creates sort of a dangerous tunnel setting. Are you going to be changing that as well, or?
Let me talk to the owners, but there's an easement there. We can. I mean, I don't see why we would need another wall there.
Right, right. Yeah, I think the whole landscaping aspect of this project could possibly be reviewed and improved upon.
Okay, appreciate your comments.
Yes.
Early.
And
Hey, Nate,
Miss,
this is Chris. Maria, I have a quick question. Has this
Sure.
plan been officially development plan submitted to city, or were those comments from Ann based on the rezoning conceptual diagram?
I don't believe so. We're just waiting for this meeting. And then
Okay. So you have not submitted to development services for the development plan yet?
We submitted once and we got some comments.
Yeah.
One of the comments was it's our review board meeting. So we have not resubmitted back yet, but
So this is quite different for us, right, Nathan, if I'm understanding this correctly? We could really give him some input in terms of how, I mean, he came to us early, which is wonderful, right?
Well, yeah, but we can give them a lot of input and put the design review back into the design review board, but really we're checking the design for conformance to those A, B, C, D, and E.
Which really have nothing to do with landscape.
I don't see landscape as a consideration.
Yeah. So I should probably be quiet.
Got a lot of landscape architects in the room here, but we're really talking about conceptual development here.
Okay, so
I'm on the same page with you this time, Carol. I think I see a parking lot that's non-conforming to development standards within the city of Tucson. I see a lot of issues with this that are going to need to be rectified. And looking through Ann Warner's comments,
yeah,
I see things in here that are not being addressed, like landscape borders aren't being landscaped. There's the water harvesting for Carol's point of view. I'd love to see more of that in here. Just the overall, I guess, within the purview of this board. Yeah, where we were headed with that motion, Nate, is where I'd like to take it, that this parking lot is non-conforming to the character of the neighborhood, not just the parking lot behind the structure, the facilities in front of the structure. If you look at the aerial imagery of the properties adjacent north and south that are also commercial, the structure itself and the landscape and the context of the building itself that is being used for commercial use still retains a notion of its residential past and residential context. The parking lots are pushed to the sides and the back, pavings pushed to the sides of the back. They have what would look like a traditional front yard still to the face front. This property, this plan that I'm looking at currently does neither. So I think there's some context. You're gonna have a lot of work to do before you get a vote from me on this, whether or not it fits the Oregon neighborhood context.
I also agree, Chris, it falls far short of the intent as described in the technical standards in terms of the water harvesting and landscape. So we could possibly put that into the motion, that we feel that it is not complying with the intent as per technical standards section, whatever it is. I'll have to get to that document to give you the sections, but that might give us a way to address this. So, well, Mr. Applicant, are you going to be hiring a landscape architect to do this? I mean, there is a lot to be done on this, is my point.
Yes.
Good.
Yes,
okay.
most likely we will.
Okay, that will help a lot, because I'm sure it's very confusing for you if you know, as an engineer.
Yes.
Landscape requirements. So I think our landscape architect will help you a lot.
Appreciate it. Yeah.
Let's have a motion.
Well, can I just make one more comment too? As a civil engineer, I think you said part of the issue with the front yard is you not have enough width to have both lanes on one side of the building.
That
like
is
neighboring building, that you're creating this island with these roads. Could you not fit both, you know, so it was just the drive was just on one side?
That is correct. That was a main aspect of this.
Because it almost looks like it would just fit.
But there's an easement on the north side we cannot go over, and there's no room on the south. Normally we need at least 24 feet, more than 24 feet. 24 feet just the street, road, and sidewalk, and landscape.
Well, I don't know if you need the sidewalk. I mean, I'm just saying it seems you may be able to fit it in if you kind of redesigned it.
We tried, let's say on the north side. Yeah, we need at least minimum, maybe 26 feet.
Well, that seems pretty excessive.
It's a typical two-way PAL. I mean,
Miss Dickinson, Mr. Chair, members of the DRB, yeah, right now the existing regulations for a two-way PAL, the parking area access lane is at least 24 feet in width. If it's one way, it's at least 12 feet. I don't know what the review has been yet, for
This is
the
showing-
PAL, but and in terms of sidewalk, I believe I have here with us Nicolas Martel from zoning. But in terms of the sidewalk, I'm not sure if sidewalk is needed or not on both sides or on all sides of the building itself. Nick, are you here?
Are any of those areas on, so they need to be there for the public areas, but there just needs to be connectivity between the parking spaces. So I'm not sure that, without looking at it a little zoomed out, I'm not sure that the sidewalk on the south is necessary. Where are the public accesses on the building?
from the front, from Craycroft, there's a sidewalk going right straight on the south side of that building. Coming, yeah, that one, number 8 there. And from the
Okay,
parking lot, yeah.
Mhm. And you said, and from the parking lot? In the
Right from the
back?
parking lot. So on the north side, we have a sidewalk that goes to the building, and you can go to the front or to the.
Can you, whoever has control of the screen, can you zoom out a little bit? Okay, thanks. Just 1 second. So there's the sidewalks on Craycroft. There are the parking spaces. And then yes, I think that those are going to be required if that's all public area.
Question on the driveway, is this a new curb cut then?
Yes.
Would it be possible to do 2 separate one-way drives and provide more of a front yard?
No, I think there's a setback going to be from the property line, and so it's I think it's gonna be too close. If I'm not remembering right. So there's a setback between entrance and access and exits, and I don't think we have enough room.
But there's an existing one on the south.
Yeah.
I mean, that would improve it a lot if you can't fit it in on one side. And maybe you need a variance to do that or something, because it's pretty gross the way it is. Frankly.
I have a feeling this property's headed towards a variance, several of them actually,
Perhaps
in
so.
order to make it compatible with the neighborhood context and still fit codes. I don't think you're going to be able to get code compliant.
Are
So
you-
is the main entrance of the building on the west side?
And the main entrance is actually it's on the south side. There's one on the south side and one on the west, but the main one is on the south. There used to be a permanent structure there that we told them, hey, we need to get rid of this. And if you look at the aerial, there was a structure right there.
The shed is being removed, correct?
Yeah, it was removed because it was not permitted.
Right.
Yes. That's kind of tough here.
So the front has no front door.
That is correct.
That's bizarre.
But
Well,
we just
Mr.
working
Chair,
what we have there.
this was a single family residence. Maybe they didn't want the front door facing the major road.
Okay, that makes sense. All right.
So the front door is the east elevation.
No,
I'm sorry.
the south elevation.
That's the primary entrance,
Is the
Correct.
south.
is
Okay.
the south.
Thank you.
Actually, dropping me into Google probably has a bad idea here that if you look on the side of that structure, there's a hanging AC unit, a little mini split hanging on the side of the building that's visible from the street.
Yes. Yeah, we can.
Not shown in the elevations.
It
Is
is
that
shown
remaining?
there. It is shown. We can relocate that. I mean, it's
Yeah,
on the
that
south
needs to-
elevation there. Yeah. That one.
Right, but it's not shown in your elevation that shows what you would see from the street, your front west elevation. It's
Oh,
not
got
on
it.
the side of the
Got
building. That's going to be a permanent feature. It should be shown on that elevation.
There's a, yeah. It's-
Nate, we were in the middle of a motion before we went sidebar there.
Yeah.
Well, we're just kind of
I
reviewing
think
it.
we can
collecting
keep
some-
going in circles on this and finding things that we don't think are compliant, or we can
Yeah, we
uh,
provided
make-
some
save some
valuable,
time here.
Yeah, but
valuable design review, but let's make a motion and let the applicant kind of go back and contemplate how to make it match the residential feel and basically increase the landscaping, decrease the parking lot, and juggle all the different requirements that he has to deal with. Unfortunately, there's a lot of, it's a balancing act. But right now we feel it's out of balance with too much parking and not enough of the exterior facade is compatible with neighborhood feel. Okay, who's gonna do our motion?
Mr. Chair, members of the DRB, even if the applicant hasn't prepared the elevations that he's going to be submitting for construction documents, he can still present proposed elevations to the DRB because that will help me as I'm going to be reviewing for design at all stages, the development package and the construction documents, to have an idea of what the elevations will look like. And if there's going to be any conditions established by the DRB in terms of the elevations as they relate to the mechanical equipment, then I can have that as well. But it's up to the DRB at this point if they just make it a language or if they want to see additional drawings.
Well, we're gonna make a motion that, can you pull up the screen a little bit, Maria, so we can see the motion language? We're gonna find it not in compliance, but it's not subject to anything. But what we can do is say, we request proposed elevations so that we can fully evaluate the criteria above. Looks like Carol might be talking, but we don't have any audio.
I'm sorry. Also included in that, what Suzanne brought up about, and we discussed at length about the dominance of the parking lot, the site planning. Can we make a comment about, or do we just say not in compliance? I
Yeah,
don't
we
know.
can say not in compliance. When you return, please consider points A through E, and you might need exhibits of proposed elevations to demonstrate compliance with A through E.
Okay.
Chris wants to make a motion, I can tell.
It seems like A through E aren't the things we're stuck on.
I know, this is so odd for us because we're not.
No, it is.
It's kind of,
The
It is the
the front
exterior
paragraph
facade.
is where we're at.
We're
you know,
really stuck at it, at the exterior facade is not compatible with, oh, those are the building materials of the exterior
Yeah,
facade.
it's the site plan that we're stuck on.
But
I
the
think it's
exterior
point B,
facade of
isn't
new
it?
construction, look at C. The exterior facade of new construction is of a residential type architecturally. And it's not because of it's more like a parking lot than a residential.
Yeah, I
Well,
would
it's
say it
really in the
is C and
paragraph.
D. I would say it is C and D because
Okay.
the building scale isn't just the building, it's the whole,
Site.
The project.
you
Yes,
are
good.
building construction on a hardscape. That is still building construction.
Right,
I mean,
point
you are
D,
building.
I agree, Susanna. I think point D is the one that we're having an issue with because the part of the new construction is all that paving, and the amount of paving seems out of scale with what's going on in the neighborhood, and even out of scale with what the city requires for a parking lot.
Correct, yes. And Maria, are you in charge of the screen? Can you scroll up to the entry paragraph to this, these criteria? It's just one click up. So this is where I'm stuck, is that part of this review within these criteria includes screening, landscaping, vehicle use areas, and other contributing design features. So what we were just discussing is the mechanism that we're discussing. I think, yes, that the scale of the new construction does not complement and is rather dominant to the adjacent projects. And they're not screening all their mechanical.
And yeah, so I think it really is A through E. And the comments have been heard and they're recorded now in this meeting. So the motion should just be, it's not in compliance with A through E. When you return, make sure that there's some careful considerations for this A through E, and you have sufficient exhibits, maybe even proposed elevations, so that we can confirm, and color schemes. Proposed elevations, color schemes, mechanical equipment location. We need an exhibit for all that stuff.
Okay.
All right, let's make a motion.
And Mr. Kapler, members of the DRB, just to clarify, the UDC establishes a definition of what new construction means. And new constructions means even any movement of land, any grading, anything that changes a site, that's considered new construction.
Oh, thank you, Maria. That's excellent. So yeah. Do other members of the board feel that we need to comment on the compatibility of the landscape requirements, or is that inherent in the next round? That I'm getting stuck on that.
I personally think it's okay that I think we've said enough that they've just, and with the non-compliance, we'll look at it again.
Okay.
And Mr. Chair, members of the DRB, remember the applicant will also need to show compliance with rezoning conditions, which one of them includes the need to provide 6-inch wide masonry block on the perimeter wall. So, zoning staff will be reviewing for those rezoning conditions. But just to make the DRB aware that, you know, the applicant will need to comply with those as well. So, you know, the design of the walls itself will also be reviewed.
All right, I think I'll make a motion. Could you pull that motion up? I'd like to make the motion. The Design Review Board has reviewed the applicant's project for the proposed rezoning 201 or O.1, Office 1, and recommends to the Planning and Development Services Director denial, finding the project is not in compliance with the criteria established as UDC Section 494R7. See attachment A, and we're specifically talking to the paragraph in 494R7 and criteria A through E. Please come back with exhibits that show consideration for the compatibility standards.
Okay. Yes.
Is there a second?
I'll second the motion.
Okay.
Thank you. I was left hanging there for a while. I wasn't sure if I did that right. Let's call for a vote. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
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 Any opposed to the motion, say nay. The motion passes. Thank you. Thanks for the presentation, and we look forward to seeing it when it comes back.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Next agenda item.
Thank you.
All right. Looks like there are no other cases to review, and we're now at staff announcements.
Yes, Mr. Chair, members of the DRB, the downtown YMCA is coming to the DRB as soon as possible for a courtesy review. They're proposing some modifications to the interior, but also to the exterior of the existing facility. We had a pre-submittal meeting with them, and would like to come forward to the DRB. I let them know that whenever there's no cases to review, we don't schedule courtesy reviews, but I want to take advantage of this opportunity to check with the DRB. If there's no formal cases to review, would you be willing to meet and do a courtesy review for the YMCA?
I would, but I may
Fine.
be traveling the next meeting, so it may depend on the date.
That would be in 2 weeks from now, on the 17th of June.
I'd say you just put it out there, Maria, and even if we don't have a quorum, they could still get a courtesy review.
Okay.
I can be there on the 17th.
Okay, great.
Excuse me, just so you know, I'll see you next time.
Okay, thank you, Rene.
Thank you.
And that's all I have for now. And staff, like I mentioned in our previous meeting, still working on presentations to the DRB regarding landscaping and water harvesting requirements.
Great.
Looking forward to that. Thank you, Maria.
Based on where I think those presentations are going, that last applicant may not make it through us.
I know. That was hard. That was, oh, poor guy. Oh, well. Wow.
Well, but we can turn the recording off and be adjourned. How does that sound?
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank
And now
you.
I think if the recording is off, there could be, yeah.
Let me stop it. Just give me a second.
Oh yeah, let's stop it.
And I'm gonna know that we adjourn at 8:26.